Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, although the World Chinese Entrepreneurs Convention is only 20 years old, it honors a centuries-old phenomenon. Way back in the 2nd century before Christ, during the Han Dynasty, Chinese envoys explored the western regions, the Central Asian lands far west of China, and traders opened the Silk Road to trade with Rome. Later, from as early as the Song Dynasty, more than 1,000 years ago, and perhaps even earlier, overseas Chinese communities sprung up all over Southeast Asia. Over the last 2 centuries, Chinese have immigrated to every region in the world, every continent, almost every country, often to work as laborers in plantations, railroads, or mines. Wherever they went, these Chinese communities thrived. They shared a culture of hard work and thrift and focused on preserving family ties and educating their children. Many worked their way up from poor beginnings to become successful businessmen. They may not have had good family backgrounds or much education, but they had native ability and drive, keen business instincts, and the resilience to overcome setbacks. They succeeded, and often prominent businessmen became community leaders and philanthropists, helping to organize their own local communities and contributing to society in many ways. This was especially true in Southeast Asia, where Chinese communities got together to support one another in areas where colonial governments were unable to cope. For instance, in Singapore, successful businessmen like Mr. Tan Kah Kee, Lee Kong Chian, or Tan Tock Seng set up schools, hospitals, and other public institutions which remain to this day. And the same happened in many other countries. Although the Chinese settled down around the world, their identities, their family ties, and loyalties often remained with China. They not only supported their families and extended families back home, but also political causes in China. For instance, overseas Chinese played an important part in the 1911 Chinese Revolution. In the last years of the Qing dynasty, Chinese communities and businesses all over the Pacific Rim, as far away as Hawaii or San Francisco, supported Sun Yat-sen and his Tongmen Hui. They set up offices around the world and donated funds for the uprisings. And some overseas Chinese returned to China to fight the hated Manchus and participate in uprisings. And some were martyred. These included Chinese from Singapore, and their contributions and those of the Singaporean Chinese community will be displayed in the Sun Yat-sen Villa, Wan Qing Yuan, when it opens on Saturday. Later, during the Sino-Japan War too, overseas Chinese communities raised funds and rallied to support the motherland, which for them at that time was China. Over the years, the sense of identity of overseas Chinese communities has changed. The international context has altered. In an age of nation-states, overseas Chinese are citizens of the countries they belong to, and they see themselves as such. Their national loyalties take precedence over their ethnic identities. So Singaporean Chinese, after generations in Singapore and decades of nation building and living in a multicultural society, see themselves as Singaporeans first and ethnic Chinese second. Singaporean Chinese have become quite different from Chinese from China or from other countries. So much so that as a result, new immigrants or foreign workers who are ethnic Chinese but who come to Singapore from China or Hong Kong or other lands and are new to Singapore take quite a while to adjust to our norms. But in this new environment, one thing remains unchanged. Many ethnic Chinese are still successful entrepreneurs, and we are happy to welcome many of you here to this convention.